Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is Scotty. How we doing?
I'm good, man.
Really this is normally round our way, innit? And it still is round our way. But we just had a bit of breaking news, so we've had to swiftly change the thumbnail, much to the annoyance of producer Callum, who, by the way, spent ages on a fantastic thumbnail, which we will use in future, just so you're aware. But there's been a bit of breaking news regarding Antony, and a £51 million bid, so we're going to get into that. Please get involved in the chat and the comments and let us know what you think about this and anything else, because if you were joining us earlier, you probably saw a thumbnail that was talking about Maguire and Ronaldo and is there a rift and all that stuff, so we can still talk about that. I think, can we change the title of the thing as well? But yeah, just on this £51 million bid, I'll just give you a little bit of a background to this, Scotty, before I get you.
Literally just broke this, hasn't it?
Literally just broke 15 minutes ago. James Robson, who writes for Goal, said United have bid £51 million for Antony, but that is still nearly £20 million short of Ajax valuation. What do you make of that?
They can't want 70 million quid for him, really. I just think that's outlandish. I think 51 million seems like a decent price for Ajax. Brilliant if United have put the bid in for him, and it's nice to see we're trying to get more signings through the door now, following Malacia and the expected Eriksen's unveiling.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense, this deal, and also, you know, it's one of those where this is a player that Ten Hag knows. He's played under him at Ajax, obviously. He's been quite effective there. We'll get into his stats and all that in a minute. In terms of attackers, we know Ronaldo could be going out of the way. I know he's not a like-for-like replacement, but if you can even replace Cristiano Ronaldo, but Antony likes to play on the right, cutting on his left foot. But it is an attacker. So there's a lot of reasons why you think, okay, this makes sense. I'm a little bit concerned, though. I mean, 51 million and they want another 20.
And especially with the De Jong deal, still like in the balance, they want 67 million. I thought we only had 130 million to
That's
spend.
what I mean.
So
it seems like this could be, you know, if we get De Jong, I know this is a big if, well, it's still a little bit of an if with De Jong, and we get Antony, that could be a lot. Them two and Malacia, which it's not really enough, is it?
I mean, but for under a sort of Glazer ownership, that's still three decent signings, I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking those signings, and I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not pleased if we get them. I wouldn't be pleased with them. It's just, if you'd have said to me a few weeks ago, by the end of the window, and I'm not being negative here, but just how it looks. By the end of the window, you're going to have a right winger, a midfielder, and probably a reserve left back. I'd have been like,
Bit underwhelming.
Yeah, especially when we've lost 8 players as well.
But what would you rather in terms of, like, you know, you've only got, what is it, £130 million budget?
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, for me, it's the constant pursuit of De Jong that's by far more frustrating. But will that affect that by them spending 50 million? Would you rather them sort of spent less on lesser known players?
No, I mean,
they can't go out and buy everybody this summer.
You're right. I was hoping, I'll be honest with you, and do get involved in the chat in the comments, let us know what you think. DJ Panton, great, thanks for your support, sorry, welcome to the first team. What I was hoping with Antony, because I did a video on him the other day, I was hoping we could get him closer to 40 mil. I thought they might, because I was looking at Ajax's record of selling players, and they do sell a lot of players, that's their MO. They even sell a lot of players in the same window. I think, was it the same window they sold Ziyech, Van der Beek and De Jong and De Ligt, so was that 2 windows? I can't remember. I think it might have been 2, but they have done it in the past where they've sold, like, you know, 3 or 4 players, or at least 2 players in a window. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Antony and Martinez and whoever else can move on. But by and large, they don't tend to sell players for 50, 60, 70 million. De Ligt and De Jong, I think, were the exceptions to the rules. Even they're very good players. Like, Donny Van der Beek was one of their best players at the time. 21 years old. Ballon d'Or nominee, 35 mil. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it seems like, for me, Ajax's sort of usual price for good players is 35, 40 mil. So when I looked at that, I thought, okay, 40 mil for him. If we can get De Jong for, you know, 50, 60 mil, a big part of what I was hoping for as well, Scotty, is we move some players on for money.
But maybe that's still to happen, though, isn't it? Hopefully we're replacing, and if the links with Lisandro Martinez, then you'd hope one of the 13 defenders that we've got on our books will be heading out the door. And I think that's probably going to dictate whether or not we do sign any more players after the 3 that we've already mentioned today.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big if. I mean, when you looked at it early on in the summer, you thought, I mean, a lot of players were linked, weren't they, with move away, Martial, Wan-Bissaka. There was talk even maybe one of the centre-backs, maybe Eric Bailly, going for money. For like Bailly, maybe 10 million, Wan-Bissaka maybe 20, maybe Martial 20, whatever. You think, all right, that's 50 million, that's probably another decent signing at least. But as it stands at the minute, no one's going anywhere. I think the only one who's going is Andreas Pereira to Fulham, which is a bit of a bonus, isn't it? Because it wasn't that long ago we wanted 10 million euros off Flamengo, and he said no. He said no. We've had him for 2 seasons, but we're not going to give you what is about 7 million quid for him.
I know it guaranteed a fantastic pre-season every year.
Pre-season Pirlo. We were looking at that goal right against Brentford last season, and that is. Have you watched it?
Yeah,
that is one of the best goals you'll see. It is amazing. I know it's only pre-season, but that is such a great strike.
Didn't he score a banger against Southampton as well?
Yeah, he did. You're right. He's got it in him, but you know, it's 1 in 10 when he's been at United. I'm getting some of the comments, and I'll get your thoughts on some other stuff as well. Richard Falkingham says, is this Antony bid legit? Who's the source? This has just been tweeted by James Robson from Goal. I think he's relatively reliable. I presume, you know, he's got some source for it. Andrew A says, lads, we paid 50 million for Fred. 51 for Antony is fine. You won't be having any Fred slander, will you?
No.
No.
I'm not at all.
No. Dave Rowbottom, who's been a member of the Academy for 12 months, says, up the Scotty and Motti, up the effing Paddock. Thank you, Dave. Thanks for your support as well. I always see you in the chat. Ozzy Gamola says, seems United wants to get signing sorted ASAP by offering 51 million. John Alex says, 51 million euros max or walk away. Be disciplined. I'll just get into his stats and you can tell me what you think it is. Right, so he's played 55 games in the Eredivisie. I always give it an extra syllable. I'm always getting told off. Eredivisie.
In Yorkshire.
Eredivisie. Put one in Thorley. Eki Thumper, tell me. Yeah, he's got 17 goals and 12 assists in 55 appearances. In the Champions League, not that he'll be bothering with that when he's at United, he's got 11 appearances, 3 goals and 4 assists. So he's in total, his career, he's 115 games, 26 goals, 26 assists, I think it says here. So he's a sort of 1 in 2 player, isn't he? He'll give you a goal or assist every week.
Yeah,
which
seems that way. So how old is he, 22?
Yeah, and, you know, hopefully there's another level to get.
We do miss someone down that right-hand side, and I think that another benefit from this will be Jadon Sancho, because last year we sort of chopped and changed over either side of the wing, and I think he's probably better on the left. So probably better for him moving forward. But he's got one thing down the side. I
said this the other day on a video. I did a video on Antony, and I said, I think we've seen Sancho operate more on the left and better on the left for Manchester United. And obviously Marcus Rashford wants to play there as well. It's like, you know, even Elanga I think is better on the left. But, oh no, Sancho can play on the right. And I think we can play on the right, but he seems to prefer the left, doesn't he? And this kid, Antony, his sort of MO is on that right-hand side, on his favoured left foot, cutting in, and even having a dig or crossing at him.
It'll be interesting to see, obviously, with the right back position as well. If Wan-Bissaka stays, you know, what's he like a tracking back?
Well, this is a good point. Joe was making this on, and I see smirk there with the Wan-Bissaka thing. I've wasted so much energy defending Wan-Bissaka. I'm not going to do it anymore. But Antony, Ajax had, I think, was it 19 goals he conceded last season? Very good defensive record. Obviously, they like to get forward. The fullbacks like to get forward. I think, from what I gather, Antony will track back. He does his defensive work, which he's been missing on it a bit, United. Yeah, we've had issues there. We've all seen the images of, like, you know, Marcus not coming back and helping out. When we had the Chelsea game, was Reece James was tearing Tellers a new one, wasn't it? You've seen Ronnie point at people, come on, you need to get involved. I mean, it's been a bit embarrassing in terms of, you know, the
tracking back. Yeah. I don't think it's down to the lack of ability. It's the lack of effort and want to do it.
You're right.
Know what I mean? It's the enthusiasm that have been lacking.
Tracking back's the most basic thing. You
just got to run back and chase him.
Yeah, you can track back.
You learn that in the school, don't you?
I can run
chase him.
Yeah, just chase him. At least do something. I mean, I won't be able to tackle anyone, but I can run.
Put him off.
Yeah, put him off. I can hold him up for 5 seconds while someone helps me out. Jeremy Young, who's been a member of the first team for 30 months, says, this window, I don't think we really need, in capitals, Antony as much as some of the others. Just wish we could sell a few more players that need offloaded. Up the Paddock. Thanks for your support. We'll just talk a little bit about, you know, we mentioned about who we need. One player that almost everyone agrees that we do need is Frenkie de Jong. This is turning into a bit of a... can I use the word saga, or is that too premature for me to use that?
No.
Is it becoming a saga?
It feels that way. I put out a tweet 2 weeks ago and everyone's saying I was getting a little bit ahead of myself by panicking. I can't remember the tweet like for like, and I just said it's dragging on already. Yeah. And people were saying that the window's only opened and a lot of the replies were that I'm not going to start panicking until it's the 10th of July and he's not signed.
Well,
we're close.
Trust me, I know this man. He will have bookmarked that. And at midnight,
that might be in my draft.
At midnight on the 10th, he will press send on his reply, and it'll be like screenshotted. Hello, here we are. No,
What's the hold up? Like, there's so many different sort of hurdles they're trying to jump through this. It seems like Barcelona want to get rid of him. Yeah. United want to sign him, and he doesn't want to leave. From what I'm gathering. What
we saw, or what I've been reading, and again, I'm not ITK. I have journalists that I trust and who seem to know this stuff. There seems to be a problem with his wages. Now, Barcelona, again, get involved in the chat, and forgive me if I'm getting this slightly wrong, but from what I gather, Barcelona had this thing where he took a bit of a pay cut during the pandemic or some stuff. He's owed money or whatever, or his wages are due to go back up, or they want him to take another pay cut to stay. He's not willing to do that. He comes to United, he's going to be on more money. It should be cut and dried if he's going to come and get more money with us. But there's some sort of, I don't know if it's just like some sort of game that Barcelona are playing by saying, well, actually, we don't want to sell him. So if you stay and take your pay cut, you can stay with us. Yeah. And making it a little bit of giving him a dilemma or what? I mean, Fabrizio Romano tweeted 4 hours ago, Barcelona president Laporta, Frenkie de Jong is Barcelona player. We don't want to sell him unless we have no other choice. Of course, we know there are offers for de Jong, but we don't want to sell him. I think that's an older quote, to be fair. So it's
unless we have no other choice, so that's down to maybe financially if he's not going to be taking the pay cut. I mean, just as a United fan point of view, it doesn't sound like he wants to come to United. If he's getting offered more money, do you know what I mean? We'd be signing a player because he couldn't stay at the club that he obviously wants to be at.
I think there might be something here where De Jong deferred some of his wages because of the pandemic, and he still owed them, and he didn't want to walk away from that. So, like, I think, again, forgive me for getting this wrong, but like, it should be a case of they give him that money and then he can still go. And it's like there's some sort of
like some IOUs.
Like, yeah, basically, because it's like, all right, deferred my wages now. I'm owed money, and they're like, well, you're not, and you're going. He's like, well, I'm not going to do that because I'm walking away from all this money.
Do we need to be involved in that sort of?
Am I getting this wrong? Because it does seem like it's a saga. But get involved in the chat and someone help me out. Ask Me Singh, who's been a member of the academy for 20 months, says, "Are you sure he plays on the right?" And this is in terms of Antony. I think so. I think he's left-footed and he cuts in on his left foot, and he can play on the. Looking at, I'm just on transfer marks here, and it shows he has played on the left, but his main position is right winger. He has, his predominant foot is left-footed. I don't think we're going to see Mason Greenwood on that position, if ever again. Certainly not anytime soon. So we need someone to fill that, and it does look like a good option. Happy says, let's get some more likes, lads, up the paddock. Good point there, only 322 likes. Jibak Sahu says, not a pay cut, deferred payments that Barca now owe, so he's owed money. James Wood, says, Barca stretching every last penny out of United. Yeah, it feels a little bit like the Sancho thing, doesn't it? Where it's like,
yeah,
when you say negotiating, what are you doing?
At what point do you walk away though? And do you have are they in too deep that they can't walk away? You know what I mean? So it gets to the season starts first week of August, correct?
Yeah, 7th, I think. Is it Brighton on the 7th?
We've got 5 weeks.
Yeah.
How long are they expected? I don't want it to happen.
If you were in charge of United, right? Yeah. You say you're Eric Ten Hag, what would your cut-off point be if it was your decision?
I just think that
would you go all the way to the end of the transfer window?
No, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go to the end of the transfer window. Okay. I think that's been our downfall for the last sort of few seasons in terms of when we've been signing players. If you look at the likes of Liverpool and Man City, even Spurs and Arsenal, they're doing their business early before pre-season to get them out there so they can embed them in their squad. And obviously, Ten Hag's got to implement his ideas to the players that have already been there. So he's got a lot to work with. You don't want to do that when the season's already started. You're already catching up then, aren't you?
Yeah.
It takes a while.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I wanted to see Ten Hag have a proper pre-season, like you was mentioning then. And I think that, we've got some big games coming up, and there's, we've got obviously a lot of pre-season games. There's one in there in Norway on, I think, the 30th. And then there's one the day after at Old Trafford. It's like he's going to give two sets of teams, United teams obviously, a game because he wants to see everyone and he wants them to play at a decent competitive level so he can assess them and get them used to playing his way of and his style. So yeah, I get where you're coming from on that one. You don't want players coming in sort of just before the window closes. Like you say, we've had this before, haven't we? Do you remember that sort of crazy week we had a couple of seasons ago where I think it was Tellez, Facundo Palestre, Amad Diallo, and Edinson Cavani all came in on deadline day.
Yeah.
And all right, 2 of them weren't ever, going to come into the first team. But you thought, why is all that happening all at once?
Yeah.
It was a bit weird. And also with Cavani, he missed some of the games because he had to quarantine. I mean, it was crackers. And he was a free agent. That's how bad it is. Yeah. No one, he wasn't even
didn't even negotiate.
No, he just, do you want to come to United? He's like, yeah, I do.
You know what that
and they were
was?
like, well, wait, because we can save a few quid. If we get you in a month later, we'll save ourselves £1 million.
Yeah, I mean that's another good point as well. When you were talking about the money that's available to Ten Hag to spend, you were talking about players leaving and getting some budget from the signings. From the transfers. But the wages that have gone off the books as well at the moment. How much are they making a month on the lack of Paul Pogba's wages?
Pogba's gone. He was on about anything between 250 to 350.
So there's $1 million a month.
Depending who you believe. Edinson Cavani, again, anything between 200 to 300 grand a month.
2 mil.
One Matter, anything between 150 to 250, should we say? Because, Matic, similar figures, maybe 120 to 300. To 200. I mean, yeah, millions a month off the wage bill. That's all gone out the door, including Jesse as well. Don't forget. So I think there's only Lee Grant who's on relatively low, really low money. So you got all that out the door, saving all that money. Yet so far we've only brought in Tyrell Malacia. Now I'm not having a dig at the kid. I'm glad we've got him. He's obviously played at Eric Ten Hag wanted. Sounds like a bargain. I'm not criticising him. I'm just saying it is a bit like, come on, what are we doing?
Bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
Feel?
So far, I mean, there's plenty of time to go, but I don't want to keep sitting here going, there's plenty of time to go as we're into the season.
Are you worried that the only player that seems to be linked with a move away is the one who scored the most goals last season? And now we've had the discussion regarding how you feel about Ronaldo leaving, but I want to ask your opinion. Like, why are there no one else wants our players? There's no links, is there?
I think
not even Everton want them. That used to be our staple. Yeah. Send us on the M62.
Yeah, you got Everton or Sunderland was a good one. Remember back in the day?
Darren Gibson and the Cole.
The G-bomb. I miss the G-bomb.
The G-bomb.
Hey, I don't forget, Darren. Hull away. I remember. Bayern Munich. Hey. What was the other one? Schalke. Do you remember that? Sorry, went down a little Darren Gibson memory lane there.
Have you seen his driving?
Wow. Low blow, my friend.
He's better at football than driving, that's for sure.
I think it's the wages, bro. I do. I think we have everyone. I've got some chats and stuff I'm going to get into in a minute. But I think we have everyone on like 200 and 250k, 200k, 180k.
So why would they leave to go and...
Yeah, and like if Phil Jones is still at the club for a reason. He's on like 140k. No one's going to give him that.
Yeah.
So it's a case of you've got to get a player who's willing to cut his wages. And also, if you're Phil Jones, and I'm going to turn this into Phil Jones Defence League, but I have stuck up for him quite a lot. You've not played a lot of football. You've only got a short career. I think he's nearly 30. You may have only got about 3 or 4 years left in you. Are you going to suddenly half your wages to go and play in the Championship? Or, probably take more than that. Cut your wages by 70% to go and play for, I don't know, Burnley or whatever. You're probably not going to do it. Get into a couple of chats, and then we've got a video with Adam McCullough I want to get into. So, Philip Lopez, who's been a member of the Academy for 20 months, as July the 3rd was my birthday. Happy belated birthday. Thanks for your support as well, Philip. And I was hopeful that United would have signed more players, but sadly they haven't. WTF. James Wood, I think I might have read this as Pastor stretching every penny out United. Let's have this video from Macca, because we're doing all this nonsense or not doing anything, and our rivals have been doing this, and it's a little bit disconcerting when you look at the different levels at the minute.
He's already lining up his next move to Real Madrid, and it'll probably be a messy departure. So would that not affect his status as a legend?
This is the thing: is how good does he need to do in how short amount of time?
He needs to lead the team to a Champions League trophy. Let's be real, right? He's not going to be there long enough to get more Premier Leagues than Sergio Aguero. Like Paul was making that comparison, he kind of has to eclipse what he's doing to become a legend. So he's probably not going to win as many domestic trophies because of the time he's going to be there. So does he need to win the Champions League to be a City legend?
So are they going to do it in the next 2 years? I mean, if they've got Haaland, there's no excuses left. So there's nothing else.
But they had Aguero at one point and they didn't win it. He was an amazing striker.
So So that was Adam McCullough for Last Fan Standing with BetVictor. Go and check them out. They were talking obviously about City got Haaland. And the reason it's relevant is we're talking about how we're going to get Antony, how we're going to get Jong. City have gone out and they've worked behind the scenes on this. So it's not like they did it last week or 2 weeks ago then. They obviously did it over a period of months. But they're talking there, Maka and a few of the others talking about, and I've heard lots of City fans saying this, Haaland going to get him to the Champions League. We're saying, can we get players in to get us to that top 4? It does feel a bit like how far we done fell, doesn't it?
It really does. And again, the sort of competence that Man City have had regarding attracting players and getting them over the line early doors, because Haaland would have been sewn up at the beginning of the year, I think.
Yeah, I agree, because there was no negotiations this summer. It was like it was, we've done it, we'll unveil him when we're allowed to.
But it was all done behind closed doors, whereas United just seems to like their transfer sagas and dramas to be played out in public. It's a little bit embarrassing, especially when it doesn't come off. But to answer the question, does Haaland deliver the Champions League for Man City? I thought that's what Pep Guardiola was for.
Good lad, eh? Do you know what I mean? Hey, how many times he not won it for 11 years?
But they've had the best team in the Champions League for 4 seasons.
I think they've had the best team for 5 out of the last 6 seasons. I said. And I think the difference between Fergie and Pep is, obviously Pep beat Fergie when he had Barca, but when Fergie had the best team in Europe, he won the Champions League. I would only go 99 in 2008. You could say United were the best team in Europe, in my opinion. You might disagree. Pep's had the best team in Europe for about 10 years. You think about 4 years at Barca or whatever it was, and about 6 years at City, and he's won it twice. That's for me the difference. I know you look at Bayern Munich, because I don't want to turn this into Pep Guardiola podcast, but they got to back-to-back finals, won it. Pep gets there, don't get to another final.
Didn't they win 4 this season before? They won 4 cups this season.
Yeah, before, I mean, it's one of those. But you look at that and you think, it's a little bit frustrating. Go over to BetVictor, comment on Last Fan Standing. Let them know you've come from Stretford Paddock. Let them know what you think about Erling Haaland. Yeah, it is Erling Haaland. I thought I was getting wrong, but it is. Is he going to deliver the Champions League? Are you concerned, or is it that bad we're not even looking at City anymore? Resonating Silence says, for CR7, it could also be about his brand, which also translates to money. Yeah, we were going to talk about Ronnie, so we may as well anyway, because, for those who joined early, the original thumbnail was going to be about this whole Ronnie thing, and he's not in training again today. And this is the third day, this week. I think he's missed training. It's family reasons are cited. We've also had the stories coming out over the weekend that he doesn't want to be at the club anymore. He's decided that he's not happy to not have Champions League football. There was the Stephen McGuinness says, Jay, can we get a recap? I'll go into a recap in a minute, bro. There's this talk today. We saw Harry Maguire liking an Instagram post that said that Ronnie was unhappy with the pay cut. I think Harry Maguire's since people for Harry Maguire since said it was an accident. He wasn't necessarily agreeing with that or throwing shade at Ronaldo. Where do you stand on the Ronaldo thing? I know me and you did it on our podcast, Scotty and Moy, but for the benefit of Paddock viewers, what's your
course.
Thoughts?
I don't really care, to be honest. I think it's the manner that he's going about it. If he's just not turning in for training and stuff, I think there's a way. If he loves and respects the club as he says he has in the past, and which was evident when he came back last summer. Obviously, the wages helped with his return, but he could have notified United or the board at the end of last season that he wanted to go because we're not getting Champions League football. This new revelation in the newspapers today or yesterday about him not being happy with the 25% wage cut. You know what was in the contract. Why are you upset now?
Yeah, that's true.
I think signing.
I think like I was with you. Me and you did the worst Ronaldo reaction ever because we're both like, I'm not bothered.
I genuinely, it's true.
I'm not going to pretend to be infuriated. I went on that Sky News and it was the same. And everyone was like, and they even saying to me like, you don't look that upset. And I'm like, I'm not.
No.
Do you know what I mean? He's a very good player. And he was very effective last season for us. And I'd rather we had another season out of him, I'll be honest with you. But if he wants to leave, fine. Go.
That's always my attitude for any player that wants to leave United. And it was always my case with Paul Pogba over the years when he was linked with moves away. That he'd never seemed to deny. Ronaldo was not come out and denied any of the claims.
He's had 3 days opportunity to do so.
On his social media. And I know you don't address all rumours, but I think for this one he probably should have done. But yeah, it's the timing that really is a bit of a stickler for me because Ten Hag would have been making plans and identifying players around him, knowing Ronaldo was probably going to be the focal point up front next season. Now does that sort of shift the dynamics as to who we sign?
Does it? Get involved in the chat in the comments. I'm going to do a little quick recap as well. Make sure as well, I've just put a link into the description for Scotty and Marty. That's mine and his podcast. That's out every Monday at 7. It's alive. We talk about football, politics and all that. Fortunately, no, there's nothing to talk about politics-wise, so I don't know what we're going to do next time we do it.
You're in Thailand.
Nothing's happening. Yeah, that's the point. Also, hit that like button. Nearly 5,000 watching. We've not even got to 600 likes. Let's get to 1,000 likes, which is a bare minimum, really. And it's like we are bare minimum FC. So let's get to 1,000 likes. As you may have gathered from the thumbnail or the latest sort of breaking news, and this came from James Robson, who writes, I think he's at Goal. He's been at ES. Was it the MEN one, James Robson?
Yeah.
He did a tweet about 20 minutes ago, or 30 minutes ago, I should say, and he just said. In fact, he's done a full story here, so I'll read that. But his tweet says, United have bid £51 million for Antony from Ajax, obviously, but that is still nearly £20 million short of Ajax's valuation. And then I'll go into the story that he's published, and he says the 22-year-old wants to make the move to the Premier League side, but the Eredivisie Giants hope to keep him. So United have offered the €61 million, but they're still holding out. Ajax still want €81 million for him.
You know what I read when we were initially linked with Antony, which is might be the reason why Ajax are holding out for more money. I'm pretty sure that there's who was his previous club? Was it Sao Paulo?
Yeah, I think it was.
So they've got a sell-on. They've got a sell-on clause. So any money that Ajax make, I think it's something like 25% goes to Sao Paulo. So I think it's obviously Ajax trying their arm because 50 million isn't going to them. They're probably 40. So if you know, so I think that's the reason why they're holding out for more money, but. They could end up shooting themselves in the foot, really, because they're going to disgruntle a player who obviously wants to come to the Premier League. And if United walk away, I don't think there's that many other teams that are looking to sign him, but that would pay 70 million.
Do you think that United can still get Antony, De Jong, and someone else? I know we were talking about this earlier, but I just want to do a bit of a recap as well.
And someone else, yeah. I'd love to see Lisandro Martinez, also known as the Butcher.
I didn't know that. Is that his nickname?
That's his nickname, yeah. Unfortunately, his idol is Gabriel Heinz from. That was a bit hard when I heard that thing. But I'd like to see him at United. Fantastic passer of the ball.
Fall from grace, wasn't it, for Heinz?
Yeah.
Right. Do you remember when he came? He was player of the year in 2005. When he fans player of the year, everyone loved him, and then he wanted to go with the Scousers.
I know.
What's that about? Hey, even Tevez when I won't go to Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Gabriel, what are you doing? You at times I chanted in Argentina. You broke me out. Do you remember? You know, I always remember the game against AC Milan against Kaká. When it Heinz and O'Shea or something centre back.
Yeah.
Because we had so many injuries. And it's just like, Kaká just tore
Kaká was such a graceful player, the one.
I know, honestly. That night at Old Trafford, he was underrated. Because people sort of forget that because we ultimately didn't get through. But Rooney's last minute winner as well. I thought we were going through. Yeah. I thought that's it. We're going to go in the Champions League final. And we would have played Liverpool as well, wouldn't we? But yeah, it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. Matthew Rawson says, "Is Frankie deal off?" No, it isn't. It just seems to have reached a bit of an impasse. Zachary Purvis in Super Chat says, "Keep CR7, sign Ericsson and Dybala on a free." I forgot about Ericsson. We've not even mentioned him, have we? He's joining as well.
Can we address the Dybala situation?
Yeah, let me finish this Super Chat. Sorry, I've not read it all. Then we'll go into Dybala on a free. Get Antony De Jong, Martinez over the line and promote some youth, and this is a fantastic window. Go on, what are you saying about Dybala?
I think I mentioned it on our podcast the other day. Like, I think Dybala is a fantastic talent. Since the Palermo days, I was going.
You've been a big fan.
Yeah, I was going when he went to Juventus, and I think Van Gaal. I think we were linked with him when he was at Palermo, and I think Van Gaal was in charge of United at the time, and I was gutted he didn't come. There's no way that man's coming to United.
No,
I just don't see it. He's firmly rooted in Italian culture. I think his missus is from Italy. He's on a free deal. There's rumours of him going to either Inter or AC Milan. I just think it's convenient that United haven't signed anyone of them. The press headlines are looking for any player out there to link United with. And his injury, I think he's injury prone.
Yeah.
Another thing is he's also very good mates with Paul Pogba, and I can't imagine that he's been given glowing references about going to Old Trafford.
No, I feel like the Dybala one. I think there was a real chance a few years ago.
Yep.
I think that all the journalists, again, I'm Mr. Not ITK, but the ones I respect were indicating that this looked like there was movement, like it could happen. I think the issue was his wages were quite hefty, and there was a feeling, this was around the time that Alexis Sanchez, around that time, there was a feeling this could be another Sanchez scenario where you're basically just getting a player who's purely for money.
Yeah.
Not really that keen, but we'll do it because you're going to pay him a wedge. And United, for once, balks at that, and he was a bit like and ahhing anyway. Like you've said, he's obviously ties to early. That it might have happened then. I don't think it happens now. I think people are putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5 because it's just like he's available on a free. We've been in for him in the past. Ronnie could be going. Well, why don't we get him in?
It's an easy hit for journalists looking for headlines to fill, isn't it? And given United's history of signing centre forwards on free transfers over the last few seasons with Ibrahimovic, Cavani,
what's going on, Scotty, with us and strikers, right? Because I think Joe's done a video on this. I don't know if is that video out. When's that video out that Joe did? Is it tomorrow?
Forwards.
Yeah. Producer Ethan just told me it's tomorrow. And our record of signing strikers hasn't been great, has it? Over the last...
Post-Ferguson?
Well, yeah, post-Ferguson.
Van Persie probably the last great striker signed.
I mean, we've had... Lukaku didn't really work out. Zlatan was all right for a season. He's probably one of the most better ones. Igalo didn't really work out.
I mean, Igalo was never going to work out. I mean, he'd become a cult hero for that goal he scored in Europe, was it?
Well, for me, the debut goal.
Yeah, was it the volley?
Oh, no, we'll get the... no, sorry, I'm talking about... You're right, the last game. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. And also, his role in the McTominay goal in the derby was quite... Although I missed that goal, didn't I, Scotty?
You did, actually, because you let me go, didn't you?
I'm not saying I need you to cover me, Jay, but if you don't, I won't be able to go again.
It was my birthday.
Yeah, that was... I could never say no. I'm going to go through a couple of super chats before we wrap up. Gordy B666 says, with 8 weeks left of the transfer window, why are people acting like it closes this week? Chris Bushnell says, could a fully fit Rashford at striker generate similar numbers to Ronaldo for United last season? I love Rashford, I don't see that happening. Lee Kell, who's been saying this quite a lot, says United needs to go for Ndidi or Kante. Dave Darnborough says, I want Denzel Dumfries for right back over Wan-Bissaka. Listen, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you're checking out Scotty on the socials. Where can people find you?
Kid, ARGH Kid.
Make sure you're checking out Scotty Motti Podcast. I put a link in the chat before for that one. We'll be back with that. I think we've got a video coming out tomorrow. So you can check us out there. Don't forget as well to hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Got loads of good videos coming up. And as always, we will go live if there's any developments on Antony. I don't know why I'm pointing there. It's there, isn't it?
He doesn't look too happy about it, I'll be honest.
He looks a bit scary, doesn't it? Hey, he does. Whether it's Antony, whether it's Jong, whether it's anyone else, we will go live and keep you posted. This has been Round Our Way with breaking news. Thanks for watching.